Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's Kate Caruth, your content alchemist, with some content gold on a Wednesday lunchtime. I thought this month, let's go for some hints and tips again. And I thought I would share with you a bit of a favorite topic of mine, which is your top tips for your website content. Now, this is an area where I spend a lot of time. We write lots and lots of websites for people. And in fact, at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you about something really exciting and new as well in our field of website content. But I thought I would just share with everybody a few of my favorite top tips. So tip number one, you need to know where your website fits in your business and in your visitor journey. So does someone come to your website because they search for you on Google? In other words, this is first contact, or if they met you somewhere and now they're just checking you out, or is it even later in the journey? Maybe they're the type of company that will check your website out when they're doing due diligence before signing a contract, or perhaps this is where they place their order. Where does your website fit in your journey? And therefore, what kind of message do site visitors need to get? They're quite different depending on whether someone has never come across you before and whether they already know you, and they're quite different depending on how well they need to perform on Google. So knowing that question, knowing where your website fits in your business and how it fits to your customer journey is the most important tip that I can give anybody. Second top tip, do not wait for your website to be perfect. I have so many conversations with people saying, I've written some of it, I'm still waiting to write some of the pages. Don't wait to get your website live. If all you've written so far is your homepage, go live with that. You can always add more pages. And if what you've written so far isn't 100% right, go live with what you've got. You can always change it. Websites are not a fixed point. You can be adjusting it all the time, but get it live as soon as you can. Because as long as you have a call to action of get in touch, it's going to do something for anyone who finds you online. Next top tip, you'll have heard this one before. Talk to your audience. Don't talk about yourself, talk about them. Just go through your webpage and count up how many times do you use the word we or I compared to the number of times you use the word you or yours. In other words, don't we all over your website. Talk about them. You have this issue. Do you ever feel this? That sort of conversation. Much more engaging. That's what they came for. They don't care about you particularly, especially on the homepage. Nobody cares about you on the homepage. They care about what you can give them. So write that way. Next tip, another really important one, look after your about pages. Often what happens is when we set up our website, we write an about page and then we stick it there and we think, great, that's the job done. This is actually the second most visited page on most websites. Not necessarily the second place they're going to go, but it is the second most visited. They're going to keep coming back. There's some research that suggests around about somewhere between 65 and 80% of a decision to buy comes from values and what your business stands for. So your pricing, for example, is a very small portion of that decision. Knowing about you is what matters. So have an about page that talks about not just you personally, but the values that you espouse, the way you go to business, all of those kinds of things that matter to you as a company, and make sure you keep it up to date. You've got a company history that finished in 2014, it looks a bit off. And my final tip, really, really important one, maintain your content regularly. We've all been there, been to a website, and we go there, and it's telling us at the moment about its fit protocols and how they use masks and 2-meter distancing and things like that. In other words, no one's looked at it since about 2020. Well, you go and look at their blogs, they're all dated July 2017. The message it sends is terrible. It suggests either they've gone bust, they're not trading at all, or they just don't finish what they start. They've got no attention to detail. The chances are your visitor's going to take one look and leave and go and find a business that does maintain its website. So don't let that happen to you. Put a bit of time aside Doesn't need to be every week, but every 3 months or so to just check your website content. Update anything recent and exciting that's happened in your history. Make sure that the services and products you offer are still relevant, and just make sure all your links still work. Every 3 months, just do those checks, and keeping your website up to date is an easy and simple task. Leave it too long, and suddenly you've got this website that you're embarrassed to send people to, and you feel like it's got to be all rewritten, and that's a much, much harder place to be. So those are my top tips. I promised you something very exciting. We write websites for people. We write websites for small business owners who lack the time but know the importance of their content. Now what we are launching is a brand new training course called Website Gold. And that is for people who've got the time, they want to write their own website, or they haven't got the budget to have us do it, but just need someone to guide them through the process. So if you're interested in Website Gold, check out the links below, and we will put you in touch with that fantastic new course. That's it from me for this month. If you think it was helpful, then please like it, share it with your friends, tag them in the comments below. Tell us what your top tips are for your website too, because I'd love to hear. And we will be back next month. Have a golden afternoon.